What's good, guys? CJ here, and welcome back to another Stalcraft X video. In today's video, we're going to break down the best artifacts in the game. We've done this by breaking all the artifacts down into 5 categories, those being speed, healing and vitality, carry weight, bullet resistance, and counter artifacts. What I want to do is give you guys the top 3 to 4 artifacts in each one of these categories so you know exactly which artifacts to go for when you're doing your builds. So if you want to see more Stalcraft content, do be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and stay tuned for more content as we're dropping constant Stalcraft X videos. For now, let's hop right onto the video. Kicking things off with the BR or bullet resistance artifacts, and the first one we're going to talk about is the Prism. Not only does this have one of the highest BR stats in the game, but it also offers other stats that are pretty good, like explosion protection, and when maxed out, you can also roll stamina regen on this artifact. So overall, a pretty damn good artifact, and without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best BR artifacts in the game. Now we have one of them Frost Winter artifacts. This is another one of my favorite artifacts, and that is none other than the Crust. This is a very good artifact because it gives very high bullet res, it gives laceration protection, temperature, and melee protection, and you only really have to sacrifice a little bit of frost, which is really good because it will fit in most builds. Overall, this is one of the best bullet resistance artifacts in the game. Our next artifact is the Cursed Rose, and this artifact is pretty damn good, giving some pretty high bullet resistance, explosion protection, and once you start leveling it up, you can roll stamina regen. Overall, this is a pretty good artifact. And the best part about it is that so far is one of the cheaper artifacts when it comes to higher bullet resistance. So if you're looking for something and you're on a budget, this might be the artifact for you. Our next artifact is the Steel Hedgehog, and this is another pretty good artifact, especially for its price. It's going to give you some pretty high bullet res. It also comes with reaction to laceration, and once you start leveling it up, you're going to roll into stamina and reaction to melee. Overall, a pretty good artifact in comparison to some of the other ones, especially for its price. Our next artifact is the Shrimp, and this is pretty much one of the OGs. This thing right here looks straight out of Alien, and this artifact is pretty damn good. It gives you some carry weight, bullet resistance, and once you start leveling it up, you're going to get some explosion protection on it. So overall, pretty damn good. You can have it on your bullet res build, or you can have it on your carry weight, and overall is going to give you a lot of usability. Sometimes you might want to do a bullet res build, but you'll need a little bit of carry weight so you can carry your ammo and such. This might be the artifact you might want to go for. Our next artifact is what you call the peak budget artifact. You can get this artifact in some of its rarer qualities for a very cheap price, and it'll still give you some pretty good bullet resistance, and that is none other than the Scallop. This comes with bullet resistance and explosion protection, and once you start leveling it up, you can get a little bit of bleeding on there, so it's not a bad artifact for its price. And once again, if you're on a budget and you're trying to get your build going relatively quickly, this is an artifact you can look into if you're looking for bullet res. Our next category is going to be the speed artifact. So if you're trying to go fast, this is the category for you. Now, the first artifact we're going to talk about is none other than the Bracelet. And this is probably one of the best movement speed artifacts in the game. Not only does it offer movement speed and stamina regen, but once you start leveling it up, it will also give you stamina. So it pretty much gives you everything you need in terms of a speed build. So without a shadow of a doubt, if you're trying to up your movement game, this is one of the artifacts you want to look out for. Now we have the Ice Hedgehog, and this is a pretty good artifact, especially for its price, offering movement speed, stamina regen, and once you start leveling it up, you're going to roll into stamina as well. So overall, it's pretty damn good. It fits into almost any build, and you should definitely check this out if you're trying to get moving a little bit faster. Our next artifact is going to be the Spiral, and this one is a pretty good artifact as it does offer multiple things, not just movement speed. With this artifact, you're going to get movement speed, some pretty nice carry weight, and once you start leveling it up, you're going to get some healing effectiveness. So once again, you got a little bit of everything. You're going to be able to fight a little bit more, you're going to be able to carry a little bit more, and move. So overall, this is a pretty good artifact, aka jack of all trades. So you can fit it on your carry builds, you can fit it on your movement speed builds, and you can even fit it on your healing builds. Overall, pretty damn good artifact if I do say so myself. So go ahead and get this one if you don't have one already. Our next artifact is on the rarer side, being one of those frost or winter event artifacts, and that is none other than the Whirlwind. This is a very good artifact for movement speed, giving you not only movement speed, but reaction to burns and temperature. And once again, the only thing you gotta sacrifice is a little bit of that frost. Overall, one of the best artifacts in the game. Very rare to get as it does come from specific scenarios, Other than that, it's without a shadow of a doubt one of the best artifacts you can slot into your speed builds. Now let's move on over to one of the most popular typings in the game, and that is none other than healing slash vitality artifacts. And we couldn't kick off this list without the Viburnum branch, aka Mama's Beads for the OGs. And this thing right here is without a shadow of a doubt one of the best artifacts in the game. It offers vitality, healing effectiveness, and once you start leveling it up, you're going to get a little bit of stamina on top of it. So overall, one of the best artifacts you can get when it comes to your healing and vitality builds. So go ahead and get one of these if you're trying to get your PvP builds going on, and overall one of your endgame builds. This is going to be in most, if not almost all endgame builds. Up next, we got one of them frost artifacts, the winter event artifacts, and probably one of the rarest and most sought after artifacts, and that is none other than the heal. And this thing right here is pretty damn good, offering healing effectiveness and reaction to laceration. And once you start leveling it up, you're going to get some reaction to melee and temperature on it. And once again, all you got to sacrifice is frost, and the healing effectiveness on this is one of the highest. So overall, a very, very good artifact to slot in if you're looking to get a big boost to your healing effectiveness. Up next, we got another one of those peak healing artifacts, and that is none other than the shard. This offers vitality and healing effectiveness, and once you start leveling it up, you're also going to get health regen. Overall, one of the best artifacts as well. This and the Viburnum branch are pretty much the top two artifacts for healing, and then you can slot in the heal, as it does offer a very big chunk of healing effectiveness despite not having vitality. Those are the three top, I would say, healing artifacts. So without a shadow of a doubt, go ahead and get yourself a shard if you don't have one. These are very, very good, and they slot into almost any endgame build. And last but not least, we have to talk about the sun. Now, this artifact right here, I don't believe it to be as good as the others, but it's still pretty damn good. It does offer vitality, bleeding, and reaction to burns, and once you start leveling it up, it also gives you stamina regen. Overall, a pretty good artifact if you're just trying to slot in something that gives you a chunk of vitality. So go ahead and get this if you're looking for some vitality on your builds. Now let's talk about artifacts you're going to use to carry your grind, your farm, and your inventory. Those being the carry weight artifacts, and we're going to kick things off with the Golden Prima, seeing as it's one of the best and it offers so much. Not only does it have one of the nicest carry weights in the game, but it also offers movement speed, and once you begin to upgrade this artifact, you're going to get a little bit of stamina on the side, which is really good, so you can carry everything you need to carry and get to where you want to go as fast as possible. Up next, we have the Amberite, and this is one of the best artifacts when it comes to carry weight. It does come with carry weight and stamina regen, and once you start leveling it up, it's going to give you some nice little movement speed on the side, which is overall pretty damn good. It does have some drawbacks in its negative radiation and side missions, but overall, if you're trying to do the right build and you got the right counter artifacts, this is going to be a great option to increase your carry weight. Once again, we got the Shrimp because not only is this a good bullet rest artifact, but also a really good carry weight artifact. Jack of all trades for those two things, so do be sure to slot it into your build, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it because we already talked about this artifact. Now let's move on over to the counter artifacts. These are the artifacts that you're going to use in almost any build that needs something to counteract the negative effects of other artifacts. And we had to kick things off with the Atom because this thing pretty much gives you everything. This is the best counter artifact there is in the game. Unless you're looking for very, very specific stats, there might be other artifacts that give those stats in a much higher percentage. But overall, the Atom is the best. You cannot go wrong with having a really good Atom on your build. So if you do happen to need a counter artifact or you want something to start building around when it comes to countering other arties, this is the artifact for you. For our next artifact, we have the Frame, another pretty good artifact that offers stamina regen, biological infection, and carry weight, and once you begin upgrading it, you're going to get a little bit of radiation in there as well, so a pretty damn good artifact despite it looking like a ball sack. It's a pretty damn good thing, and it does counter a lot of the artifacts you might need, and always having a little bit of carry weight in there is really damn good. And for our last artifact, we have the Scrubber. This one's pretty good despite it looking extremely ugly. It gives you stamina, bioinfection resistance, radiation, and biological infection, being pretty damn good to counter specific artifacts, and overall something you can get relatively cheap in comparison to some of the other ones. So if you need something to counter radiation or bio, by all means, go ahead and get yourself one of these. Now we got the Transformer, and this one's another pretty damn good artifact. Not only does it give you psi emissions, biological infection, psi emission resistance, but it also gives you a little bit of carry weight. So this is like the perfect artifact for you to go out there and farm in areas that you might not be able to get in without resistance artifacts. Overall, this is a pretty good artifact. It does not go as much as some of the other counter artifacts like an Atom, for example, but nonetheless, this is an artifact that is going to help you out a ton. So if you need a counter artifact and a little bit of carry weight, go ahead and get your hands on one of these. Alright, that pretty much wraps up the video, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section below with a like, a comment, all that good stuff. And don't forget to check out my other Stalcraft X videos. We have tons of guides for this game, like top weapons, top armors, and a tons more. So if you need more content, be sure to check those out. And if you want me to make any video, do let me know in the comment section below. But for now, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, because we will be doing giveaways for battle passes and a ton more on our Twitch over there, our SkullCJ /Twitch TV. For now, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.